Welcome to the Digital Edge. So glad you could join us.
Great to be here.
Today, we're charting a really fascinating path, the story of Vanessa Techapichetvanich. You might know her as the co-founder of Jamulogy, or maybe as the winner of the Apprentice 1 Championship Edition.
Right. And it's a journey that's just packed with resilience and some really smart business moves. And it gives us a great window into the startup scene, particularly in Asia.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is her background. It's so diverse: Thai, Indonesian, Japanese heritage, plus experience in engineering, graphic design, even tech journalism before she became a food entrepreneur.
Yeah, that kind of mix often means adaptability, doesn't it?
Mm.
Which is pretty essential in the startup world where things change so fast.
Definitely. And this isn't just a story of overnight success. We're going to look at the early sparks, yes, but also the real struggle she faced building Jamulogy. There were some significant failures along the way.
Including nearly losing the business, right? We should talk about that.
Exactly. How those tough times, those failures, actually became fuel for her later success, including winning The Apprentice. We want to unpack those key lessons.
Okay, so let's start early. She kicked off her first business at just 15. That's incredibly young. What was driving her?
It seems like it was a mix of things. Curiosity, for one, but also a really strong desire for financial independence from early on.
Not just pocket money then, but real independence.
Yeah, seems so. And she kept that up. University in Tokyo, she was running side hustles like networking events, even sake tasting events, just constantly trying things.
That really points to a willingness to experiment, to learn by doing. And eventually that funneled into her passion for the food and beverage industry, which led to Jamulogy.
Now, another key moment seems to be the Asia Pacific Innovation Academy, the EIA program back in 2018. She was in Shenzhen for that.
Right, EIA. That sounds like it was quite impactful, learning about business development, R&D, product innovation, marketing, all from industry folks.
And the network, too. Connecting with other entrepreneurs, building that community seems vital.
Always is. Okay, so fast forward a bit. Jamulogy launches, and Singapore becomes the base for expansion in Southeast Asia. Why Singapore?
Well, it's seen as a strategic hub, isn't it? It's got that strong financial infrastructure, which helps build investor confidence.
Yeah, I've heard that. For some investors, being incorporated in Singapore is almost a must-have. Adds credibility. Plus, it's a leader in R&D in Asia, strong in Fintech, AI.
Definitely. Though you have to balance that with the cost, right? It's not cheap to operate there.
True, the cost of living and business ops is significant, a trade-off.
Now let's talk about the challenges. Being a female founder in Asia, especially back then, what did Vanessa run into?
This is a really important part of her story, especially that failure to success arc. She faced, quite a bit of skepticism as a solo female founder trying to get Jamulogy funded.
Skepticism based on?
Gender, primarily, and her youth, particularly in some of the more, let's say, traditional business cultures in Asia like Thailand and Japan, where age and seniority often carry a lot of weight.
That feels like a contrast to maybe what you see more of in Europe or the U.S., with a bigger push for empowering women founders.
Exactly. There's often a stronger emphasis on inclusivity there. In parts of Asia, personal connections and networks can be absolutely crucial for getting opportunities. It was tough.
To the point where she actually considered bringing on male co-founders just to improve the fundraising chances.
Yeah, she mentioned that. And also just the challenge of looking young even when trying to project experience.
Yeah.
It's a specific hurdle many young female founders face in the region.
So based on that experience, what advice does she give to other young women starting out in Asia?
Top of the list. Find a mentor. Build a really strong support network. Don't underestimate that.
And how you approach networking.
Be intentional. Be transparent. Don't just small talk about your real goals, your actual challenges. She found people are often more willing to help if you're open about the problems you're trying to solve.
Makes sense. Be authentic.
Right. And don't shy away from unconventional opportunities. Step outside the comfort zone, which, leads us nicely to The Apprentice.
Ah, yes. The Apprentice 1 Championship Edition. Why take on something like reality TV? It seems intense.
She'd seen the first season and felt it really clicked with her own goals. Applying was strategic. She saw it as a way to boost credibility, maybe even find a co-founder.
And the exposure, presumably. The show has a huge reach in Asia.
Massive exposure. Plus, a chance to really immerse herself in Singapore's startup scene. But yeah, it was demanding.
I bet. Those physical challenges followed by intense business tasks.
Exactly. That mix of physical and mental pressure. sort of mirroring the high stakes of the real business world.
Okay, let's get to the core of that resilience story. Before The Apprentice, Jamulogy hit some serious turbulence. We mentioned nearly losing the business.
Yeah, this is critical. She talked about losing almost $1 million in the early days. Struggling, really struggling to pay her staff.
Wow. And this was during COVID too, right? As a solo founder mostly.
Precisely. Imagine the stress. She described it as just trying to survive day by day. Rent, factory costs, salaries, just immense pressure. No room to think strategy, just survival.
How did she turn it around? What was the turning point?
A big one was getting into a food tech accelerator program that provided community, support, the feeling of not being alone in the struggle. That sounds like it was huge psychologically.
Community matters.
Absolutely. And then spotting an opportunity. She and her team identified the U.S. market as having potential, and that pivot was crucial. It's now their biggest market.
So identifying a new path forward, even amidst the chaos.
Right. And she sees that whole difficult period of building Jamulogy, navigating that near failure, as the ultimate preparation for The Apprentice. It taught her leadership, how to manage people under pressure, how to persevere.
It really forged her character, it sounds like.
Definitely. And it gave her perspective. Success can be fleeting, she realized. What really lasts is your impact, how you treat people, the values you hold on to.
Speaking of values, integrity seems really central for her.
Very much so. She has a strong stance against lying, which she links back to personal experiences like her parents' divorce.
And that came up on the show, didn't it, during that cheating incident?
Yes. Even in that super competitive environment, she felt strongly about sticking to your principles. She argued that winning unethically just isn't worth it, doesn't bring peace of mind.
It's a powerful stance. Okay, just to round things out, let's quickly touch back on Singapore's role in all this, its ecosystem.
Sure. It consistently ranks as a top global startup hub for a reason. Huge ecosystem value, strong in funding, talent, startup performance, particularly in sectors like life sciences, AI, big data, clean tech.
And we mentioned why startups move there, market access, ease of doing business, tech expertise. It remains a key player.
Definitely.
So looking back at Vanessa's whole arc, it's just such a testament to resilience, bouncing back from what looked like total failure, adaptability across cultures and industries, and holding on to core values.
It really is. Her journey shows that setbacks aren't the end. They're often the crucibles where real strength and key lessons are forged. It proves the path isn't always straight, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes those unexpected detours like reality TV can lead to amazing outcomes.
A fantastic takeaway. It makes you think about your own journey, doesn't it? How perseverance through tough times and maybe embracing the unexpected can open doors. Really inspiring stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Digital Edge.
My pleasure.